ये सब समस्याएं हैं। अनसीजनल रेंज, ये देखिए फसल गाजर की तैयार है सीड क्रॉप, लेकिन अनसीजनल रेंज हो गई, पूरी बर्बाद हो गई। तो अब ये आपका हेल स्टॉर्म हो गया, ये देखिए क्या, तो बाहर क्रॉप होगी तो आपकी क्रॉप बच नहीं सकती, लेकिन अगर नेट हाउस है तो नेट के अंदर नहीं जाएगा। वीड्स की प्रॉब्लम हो या दूसरी प्रॉब्लम हो आपकी, सबकी सब जो है ना सारी। तो इसलिए हम चाह रहे हैं कि मैं ज्यादा डिटेल में नहीं जाऊंगा कि कैसे हम हमारी सब्जियों का जो बीज अभी तक हाई वैल्यू लो वॉल्यूम वेजिटेबल सीड्स का हम सीड जो है बाहर से मंगा रहे हैं, उसके लिए हम हमारे नेट हाउसेज का, ऐसे नेट हाउस हो टेम्परेरी, बिल्कुल इस तरीके का नेट हाउस, उसका इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। और मैं ये अंतर आपको दिखा रहा हूं। देखिए आप, हमने जब हाइब्रिड सीड प्रोडक्शन प्रोग्राम में तोमर साहब ने हमने सारे स्टूडेंट्स से करवाया, ये पंपकिन का है। अब आप देखिए पंपकिन में बाहर बोटल मोजेक वायरस कितना है और अंदर बिल्कुल जीरो है, अंदर स्टिल फ्लावरिंग इज गोइंग ऑन एंड आउटसाइड देयर इज नो फ्लावरिंग, इज ओवर। तो इस तरीके से दूसरी क्रॉप्स में भी हमने बहुत काम किया, मस्क मेलन के अंदर और आपका दूसरी क्रॉप्स में। अब ये डेटा रिसर्च के ज्यादा दिखाने की जरूरत नहीं है, दिस ऑल आर पब्लिश्ड पेपर्स के रूप में। हमने करीब 50-60 पेपर्स और एक रिव्यू आर्टिकल, हाइब्रिड सीड प्रोडक्शन ऑफ वेजिटेबल्स अंडर प्रोटेक्टेड कंडीशंस, ये रिव्यू इंडियन जर्नल ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर साइंसेज में हमने छापा है, अपने हिंदुस्तानी जर्नल में बाहर की बजाय, जिसमें हमने करीब, क्योंकि हमने काफी क्रॉप्स पे काम किया है। ये कैप्सिकम की क्रॉप आप नेट हाउस में देखिए, ये देखिए आप क्रॉप बिल्कुल कोई इंसिडेंस नहीं है। तो सीड प्रोडक्शन में आप फिर चाहे दूसरी क्रॉप हो, आपका ब्रिंजल की बात हो, ब्रिंजल में पॉलिनेशन की बात हो, इमेस्कुलेशन की बात हो, पूसा हाइब्रिड 6 की बात हो, पूसा हाइब्रिड 9 की बात हो, ये जो पंथ शंकर खीरा की जो हमने बात की, उसका हाइब्रिड सीड प्रोडक्शन में भी भारी अंतर ओपन में और नेट हाउस में। फिर करेले के अंदर भी हमने भारी अंतर, जो हमारी खुद की वैरायटी पूसा की है उसके अंदर अंतर देखा, सीड यील्ड में और सीड क्वालिटी के अंदर लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंस वाज फाउंड इन केस ऑफ डिफरेंट क्रॉप्स। तो मैं वो रिसर्च का डेटा, क्योंकि समय की कमी है, लेकिन निश्चित रूप से खीरा हो, पार्थिनाथ कुकुम्बर हो, चाहे वो हमारा ब्रिंजल हो, उनका सबका हम सीड प्रोडक्शन जो है ना वो निश्चित रूप से इनमें नेचुरली वेंटिलेटेड ग्रीन हाउस हो उनमें कर सकते हैं। और नेचुरली वेंटिलेटेड ग्रीन हाउस में बस एक ही चीज का ध्यान रखना है, डबल डोर विद ट्रैक्टर की एंट्री, जो पहले नहीं छोड़ते थे, क्योंकि उसको जुताई करने के लिए, तैयार करने के लिए ट्रैक्टर को एंटर करना पड़ेगा, उसको साल में एक बार 2 बार खोल पाए। साइड का वेंटिलेशन जो पहले अक्सर 1.5-2 मीटर होता था, ये अब आजकल 4 से 5 मीटर तक इंक्रीज कर दिया। और जो वेंटिलेटर्स के थ्रू जो वेंटिलेशन होता था पहले, वो मात्र 50 सेंटीमीटर से नीचे होता था, वो लगभग 180 सेंटीमीटर के लगभग पहुंचा दिया। और उसके बावजूद भी आप इसके ऊपर पीक समर्स में टॉप प्लास्टिक के ऊपर शेड नेट का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हो, वहां पे स्प्रिंकलर्स का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हो, करना चाहिए। गटर के ऊपर पानी आएगा, वो पानी वापस आपका टैंक में आ जाएगा, लॉस तो होगा, क्योंकि उस टाइम पे एवोट्रांसपायरेशन का रेट बहुत हाई है, क्योंकि मैक्सिमम ह्यूमिडिटी वो 15 है और मिनिमम 5 है, तो पर डे 15 से 20 mm पानी उड़ जाता है हवा में, एवोट्रांसपायरेशन रेट इज वेरी हाई। लेकिन एक चीज और हम सजेस्ट करते हैं कि प्रेशराइज्ड ड्रिप की बजाय, क्योंकि गांव में, रूरल एरियाज में रेगुलर पावर सप्लाई इज अ मेजर चैलेंज, लिमिटेड होती है, रात को बिजली आती है, तो कैसे किसान करे, टेक्नोलॉजी से कैसे सरवाइव करे? तो उसका तरीका है लो प्रेशर ड्रिप इरिगेशन सिस्टम। 1.5 मीटर की हेड हाइट पे 1000 लीटर की टंकी आप रखेंगे, वो 1000 मीटर को निश्चित रूप से कवर करेगी, 2000 मीटर तक कवर कर सकती है। जितनी हेड हाइट बढ़ाएंगे उतना प्रेशर बढ़ेगा आपका। तो इस तरीके से इस टेक्नोलॉजी का इस्तेमाल आप कर सकते हैं। बाकी नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स में आप इस तरीके का बैम्बू मेड छोटे पॉली हाउसेज का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। ये जो है हाई टनल है, जिसका रूफ एरिया खोला जा सकता है, बंद किया जा सकता है। इसमें आप टमाटर भी कर सकते हैं, खीरा भी कर सकते हैं, तो उसमें नॉर्दर्न प्लेन्स हो, हिल एरियाज हो, टमाटो का सीड प्रोडक्शन प्रोग्राम हो, या जो है दूसरे सीड प्रोडक्शन प्रोग्राम्स हो। मैं ज्यादा रिसर्च का डेटा जो है मोस्टली वो नहीं दिखा रहा हूं, जस्ट स्लाइड में ऑन कर देता हूं, लेकिन ये सब डेटा अवेलेबल है। बहुत लार्ज स्केल पे इसमें हम लोगों ने काम किया है, और वर्ल्ड में आपको दिखेगा कि ज्यादा पब्लिकेशंस नहीं मिलेंगे, लेकिन excellent results have been achieved while we have produced the seed under protected environment। और वो किसी भी क्रॉप को, जो क्रॉप मैंने बताई, उनमें ये पिक्चर मैं आपको बता रहा था कि ये चाइना का एक वॉकिंग टनल का पिक्चर है, हुनान प्रोविंस से, जो मैं बता रहा था, जो मैंने इसलिए आपको प्लास्टिक लो टनल की पिक्चर पंजाब की जो ड्रोन से ली वो बताई है। तो वो वॉकिंग टनल ऐसी भी हो सकती है, मॉडिफाई भी कर सकते हैं अगर ज्यादा अंदर आपको लगता है कि प्रॉब्लम होती है। लेकिन पॉलिनेशन मैनेजमेंट, ये सारी चीजें कहीं ना कहीं जो हम लोगों को लो टनल में भी क्रॉप्स को हम प्लास्टिक, टेम्परेरी प्लास्टिक वॉल्स का भी पहले सरकंडे का इस्तेमाल करते थे, ट्रेंचेस नदियों में खोदते थे, लेकिन मल्चिंग का लार्ज स्केल पर इस्तेमाल इस देश में आवश्यक है। डिफरेंट कलर्स, वो डबल कलर हो सकता है, येलो प्लस ब्लैक हो सकता है, सिल्वर प्लस ब्लैक हो सकता है, व्हाइट प्लस ब्लैक हो सकता है, ये चीजें हो सकती हैं। और जो एरिड, सेमी एरिड रीजन्स हैं उनमें ये मैं आपको बताया टमाटर की फसल पे है। और ये कितना ड्यूरेशन होगा, कैसी स्ट्रक्चर्स होंगी, और ड्यूरेशन सीड क्रॉप का क्या होगा, और अंतर क्या आएगा सीड यील्ड का, मैं वो स्लाइड आपको दिखा देता हूं। कितना ड्यूरेशन होगा और कितना अंतर आपका लगभग इजाफा होता है। देखिए आप प्रोटेक्टेड कंडीशन में और ओपन फील्ड में सीड यील्ड के अंदर कितना अंतर पड़ता है, वो बिल्कुल सिग्निफिकेंट है, उसको बताने की जरूरत नहीं है। और मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूं बार बार में कि उसको बर्ड्स नेट का, हेल्स नेट का, लेकिन ड्रिप इरिगेशन मस्ट है। रेज्ड बेड ड्रिप इरिगेशन, चाहे वो उसमें ऑनियन सीड क्रॉप हो, कैरेट सीड क्रॉप हो, रेज्ड बेड में, क्योंकि हमने देखा यहाँ पे पूसा में कि डॉक्टर तोमर जब उधर रोड से परली तरफ उनके फार्म पे सीड प्रोडक्शन करते थे ऑनियन का, तो प्रॉब्लम आती थी स्टेम फिलियम ब्लाइट और पर्पल ब्लॉच की, क्योंकि वो फ्लैट था और सरफेस इरिगेशन उनके यहाँ होती थी। लेकिन जब हमने, डॉक्टर तोमर ने उसी प्रोग्राम को हमारा सीपीसीटी में शिफ्ट किया, रेज्ड बेड के ऊपर, ड्रिप इरिगेशन के ऊपर, क्योंकि कहां से आती स्टेम फिलियम ब्लाइट और पर्पल ब्लॉच, जब ग्राउंड के ऊपर ह्यूमिडिटी का स्टेटस ज्यादा होता है तो फिर ये फंगस ज्यादा इंसिडेंस करता है, इनवाइट करती है इसको कंडीशंस, और वो उसमें अपीयर होती है आपकी क्रॉप में। लेकिन जब रेज्ड बेड कर ली और बिल्कुल निश्चित मात्रा में पानी सीधा पौधे की जड़ में जा रहा है और ह्यूमिडिटी का स्टेटस बढ़ा ही नहीं ग्राउंड के ऊपर, तो दोनों जो प्रॉब्लम्स है, स्टेम फिलियम ब्लाइट और पर्पल ब्लॉच, दोनों चेक हो गई। और इसी तरीके से कैरेट सीड क्रॉप में डॉक्टर तोमर साहब के फार्म पर हर साल जब हार्वेस्टिंग होती थी तो सीवियर इंसिडेंस ऑफ पाउडरी मिल्ड्यू देखने को मिलता था। लेकिन जब इस क्रॉप को हमने रेज्ड बेड ड्रिप के ऊपर किया तो वो भी जो पाउडरी मिल्ड्यू भी गायब हो गई। तो निश्चित रूप से टेक्नोलॉजी का अपना रोल टेक्नोलॉजी को करना पड़ेगा। और चाहे वो धनिया की फसल हो, सेम प्रॉब्लम्स सीड स्पाइसेस के अंदर, फेनल के अंदर, कोरिएंडर के अंदर, डिल के अंदर, अजवाइन के अंदर, या दूसरी क्रॉप्स के अंदर भी हमने अपनाया, तो निश्चित रूप से ऐसी जो प्रॉब्लम्स है उनसे हमें इजाद मिली। और ये जो है टेक्नोलॉजी जो है ना, चाहे स्वीट कॉर्न हो, क्यूपीएम हो, सबके सीड प्रोडक्शन में हम इसको इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। और मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूं कि जब आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बात करते हैं तो जो चीजें अभी हम जिनमें आत्मनिर्भर नहीं है, जो चीजें बाहर से मंगा रहे हैं और जिन पर हमें भारी मात्रा में विदेशी मुद्रा खर्च करनी पड़ती है, उनको कम करें। खाने की बात तो अलग है, चलिए एडिबल ऑयल हम सेल अभी नहीं है, सस्टेनेबल नहीं है, बाहर से मंगा रहे हैं। लेकिन सीड के मामले में अगर हॉर्टिकल्चर में हमें इसकी गति देनी है, हॉर्टिकल्चर प्रोडक्शन को, और क्वालिटी भी बढ़ानी है और प्रोडक्टिविटी को बढ़ाना है, तो निश्चित रूप से पहला जो हमारा टारगेट होना चाहिए वो सीड और क्वालिटी प्लांटिंग मटेरियल, जो हमारी खुद की अच्छी इंडिजिनस जो बढ़िया वैरायटीज हैं, चाहे वो अर्का सूर्या हो, गाइनोडाइनोसियस ग्रुप में पपाया के अंदर, चार का रक्षक हो, चाहे वो सीडलेस कुकुम्बर पूसा का हो, चेरी टोमेटो हो, व्हाटएवर वैरायटीज वी हैव डेवलप्ड, उनका सीड प्रोडक्शन हमें देश में ही प्रोटेक्टेड एनवायरनमेंट को इस्तेमाल करके, रीजन स्पेसिफिक प्रॉब्लम्स को देख करके डिफरेंट रीजन्स में हम उसको स्ट्रक्चर्स को उसका सिलेक्शन कर सकते हैं। और उसका इस्तेमाल हम करके हमारे फार्मर्स को जब हम अच्छी क्वालिटी का गुणवत्ता युक्त बीज, संकर बीज किसानों को देंगे, प्लांटिंग मटेरियल देंगे। अब राजस्थान का मैं रेफरेंस दूं, अनार का एरिया पिछले 10 साल में 500-700 हेक्टेयर था, आज 20,000 हेक्टेयर एरिया अनार के ऊपर है। और एक ही वहां पे वैरायटी भगुआ, लेकिन एक ही प्रॉब्लम वहां पे है, आपका बैक्टीरियल विल्ट सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है। तो बैक्टीरियल ब्लाइट जो प्रॉब्लम है वो कहां से आ रही है? वेजिटेटिवली प्रोपेगेटेड मटेरियल से आ रही है। तो इन चीजों को मद्देनजर रखते हुए निश्चित रूप से प्रोटेक्टेड एनवायरनमेंट का जो इस्तेमाल है वो हम लोगों को कहीं न कहीं चीन की तरीके से और आवश्यकता को देखते हुए देश की हमें हाइब्रिड सीड प्रोडक्शन में, क्वालिटी सीड प्रोडक्शन में करना पड़ेगा। थैंक यू वेरी मच
सर। थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच सर। बहुत ही नाइस प्रेजेंटेशन था, बहुत ही बढ़िया, इंफॉर्मेटिव। I know you have done lot of work in IRI and other places also. So we have निश्चित रूप से आपका जो अनुभव है सर बहुत ज़्यादा है और बहुत ही अच्छा इंफॉर्मेटिव लेक्चर रहा। बट वी आर इन शॉर्ट ऑफ टाइम सर, हम
मुझे
अपने
पता
समय
था,
से
इसलिए
काफी पीछे चल रहे हैं।
मैंने स्लाइड्स को रोका नहीं, इसलिए मैं
जी सर,
स्लाइड्स
जी
को इसलिए
थैंक यू।
भगा दिया, वो डेटा की स्लाइड्स को।
जी सर, थैंक यू सर, बहुत अच्छा टॉक रहा सर आपका। थैंक यू वेरी मच वंस अगेन फॉर गिविंग द टाइम टू अस। नाउ वी हैव
और
अनदर
अगर
स्पीकर।
पार्टिसिपेंट्स के, मैं आपसे गुजारिश करूंगा, पार्टिसिपेंट्स के क्वेश्चंस हो, क्वेरीज हो, उनको इकट्ठा कर लो, वी कैन आंसर देम बाद में।
ओके सर,
आप जब कहेंगे। ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
वो सर हम रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं पूरा और क्वेश्चन आंसर भी कर रहे हैं और इसको जो एक्सपर्ट है उनको भी फॉरवर्ड कर देंगे सर। थैंक यू वंस अगेन सर। नाउ वी हैव विद अस डॉक्टर BS तोमर, हेड ऑफ डिवीजन वेजिटेबल साइंस, IRI न्यू दिल्ली। डॉक्टर तोमर सर।
Very good afternoon, all of you. I am Dr. Tomar, BS Tomar, Head Division of Vegetable Science. And first of all, I am audible to the...
Yes, sir. Yes, you are audible.
Okay.
So kindly... okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Technology, because every day we have to conduct on that. So first of all, I convey my regards and best wishes to all the organizers to take the pain to organize such important webinar on the very important topic. And I'm thankful for inviting me to share my experience on the topic which has been assigned to me, that I'm going to share my experience, protected cultivation of cucurbits. As you know, that protected cultivation in India is emerging and one of the option for the young entrepreneur and the progressive farmers. One thing you will agree with me, that if you analyze the past trend of area under vegetable crops, have not much changed. And during 2018-19, the total area of vegetable remain 10.5 million hectare area, whereas the production has gone up, and currently in 18-19 we had 180 million ton of vegetable production with the average productivity of 18 ton. If you see the country progress in vegetable production,
sir, your PPT not visible, sir.
It is not visible.
Yeah.
But it is visible to me.
Sir, please share your screen, sir.
Okay. I have to end show. Now I will go to the share screen first.
Sir, there is an option on the screen, share screen. Green button.
That is there, but I am not able to come to the yes, now it is come to share screen, and then now it is visible.
Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
Okay. It was
Thank you.
sign. I apologize for the same. I was sharing the progress made in the country in the vegetable sector. Productivity you have seen has improved. If we analyze during 1950, our productivity was only 5 tons per hectare. And the period we have made our efforts to indigenize the production technology and generation of new information, adding to the cultivation practices. So our productivity has reached to 18 ton per hectare. But still there is a lot of gap between the productivity of China. We always take a reference of China because China is having a similar kind of climatic conditions, magnitude of population, and we are the second largest after China in terms of not only vegetable production but population too. So we have to see how we can improve our productivity, whether we can develop variety which can give higher productivity. Certainly it can be one option. Secondly, we have to see that whether we can change the cultivation system, and cultivation system change can realize better productivity. Undoubtedly, the protected cultivation has boost our productivity in these crops. In my past experience, and I have seen that the India has very slow progress, and if we go in a UP context, the progress is much slower. Some states are very progressive, some technological defects are there, some policy decisions are very important which has affected our growth, and the above and all, I feel that our farmers, which are not very rich, they want to do protected cultivation, but they are not rich in resources. They are dependent on government policies. And I'm wondering that in UP, finally up to some year back, even in whole UP, under integrated horticulture development mission, only 43 districts were covered. Even my district, Bagpat, where I belong, could not covered in the MIDH, which is very near to Delhi, and very badly affected by the perennial cultivation of sugarcane. Water table is going down, and inefficiency in the young generation is increasing. But Bagpat has been tapped in UP out of the ambit of the MIDH. So sometimes the policy decision is very important when we are talking about protected cultivation, promotion, and make it remunerative and cost effective. Then we have to see the market where our farmer will take their produce, because marketing is very important. Dr. Brahmsingh ji has mentioned in his talk that cluster approach is not only for protected cultivation, but cluster approach is making a ground for successful cultivation of all crops, especially in horticulture crop and technology intensive and demanding cultivation system is there. So we have to have a cluster approach so that we can manage the resources better, and we can provide technological support in a cluster to make this technology successful. So friends, with this background, I will come to my point that this the topic have been assigned to me, the protected cultivation of cucurbits. Which are the major cucurbits which are suitable for protected cultivation? If you see in last around 2000, the protected cultivation started in India and in CPCT, which is presently known as Indo-Israel project, was the first government of India and a Israel government collaborative center was established, and Dr. Balraj Singh was the person who has done a groundwork, and from leveling to the operational to the unit, and which become later on a center of excellence training to develop the human resources. And if you see the crops grown in the Indo-Israel project, first was the parthenocarpic cucumber, whether the variety was cyan or satis, then red and yellow capsicum, then muskmelon. Later on, we have added number of crops to the protected cultivation. So these are the initial crops. So one is the parthenocarpic cucumber. This is the most important. Second is the, though because it is not related to my topic, then capsicum, then cherry tomato, slicing tomato, and muskmelon, and some other crops. So second is the summer squash. Summer squash, as Dr. Balla Singh has narrated in his talk, that now this China-like situation is growing in India, in Punjab, Batinda area, summer squash, even in Rajasthan. Currently, I visited the Rajasthan area in the first week of March, and I come to know that one Hemaram Chaudhary is one farmer who has developed this technology, and around there, hundreds of farmers adopted the low tunnel technology, and which revolutionized the chappan tinda production in the country and made it available from December onward, when we cannot even imagine to have a tinda in the market, but the chappan tinda was available in middle of December to January and February. It is the another important feature of these cucurbits under protected culture. They are mostly of 90 to 100 days duration crop, as compared to capsicum, and tomato, cherry tomato. The cucurbits have an advantage that they are short duration in nature, 90 to 100 days duration. This is very big point to attract the cultivation of cucurbits. Second is the gherkin. Gherkin is not very popular in North India or UP, and but it is very popular around Bangalore, and around thousands, crores of rupees foreign exchange is received from the gherkin export, and around 500 to 600 acre of area is under cultivation of gherkin. The other important crops for protected cultivation in cucurbit group are muskmelon, sarda type, not all melons. You have different type of melons. Then two crops recently we have added, bitter gourd, bottle gourd. Bitter gourd and bottle gourd, because these crops have become medicinally important. Why we have added these crops and what are the advantages to add these crops in protected cultivation, I will narrate in my subsequent slides. So these are the crops among the cucurbits which are the most suitable: parthenocarpic cucumber, summer squash, gherkin, and others muskmelon, bitter gourd, and bottle gourd. Now we come to the what type of structures can be suited to the cultivation. Dr. Brahmsingh has narrated all sorts of structures available from desert to the tropical and subtropical conditions, but we have to remind, and we have to mind when we have to select the crop, we have to select the structure. What type of structure? Not only we have to take care of the season, location, which season you have to grow, which location you have to grow, because the requirement of the structures are different in different location. What type of climatic condition we have to deal? If you take an example of UP alone, which is come under subtropical condition. In subtropical condition, if I characterize that the UP climatic conditions having low temperature, high temperature, strong wind, heavy rainfall, all sorts of combinations are available in Uttar Pradesh and North India, similar to that. But if you see the Himachal Pradesh, where if you have to grow the crop during winter, you have a different requirement. If you have to grow the seed crop, or you have to grow the capsicum in Bangalore area and Karnataka area, the requirement will be different. So we have to see that what type of structures are suitable for cultivation. So in general, I would like to mention that naturally ventilated polyhouses, semi-environmentally controlled polyhouses, environmentally controlled polyhouses. And the difference is you understand that only the energy requirement to make operational to them. Naturally ventilated, you have to open the site so that ventilation is there. And when you have to fan pad system, then it is and temperature control mechanism. Then environmentally controlled, if you have only the simply fan to make a ventilation proper. So, and among the second, the plastic tunnels, walk-in tunnel, low tunnels, high tunnels, medium tunnel, you can categorize in different ways. But the low tunnel technology has revolutionized the summer square production in India. And it has to go in a long way, and it is very economical. And farmers have now understand the principles of management of low technology. Net house is another option, because in southern condition where temperature doesn't go much high during summer, and during winter temperature is not low. So net house is one successful for growing such kind of crops. If I go to what type of varieties, what type of variety we have to select. First, we have to see the suitable varieties. As I mentioned, in cucumber, we have Gynoecious parthenocarpy cucumber, Gynoecious-based parthenocarpy cucumbers, and very monoecious type of cucumber. So the basic characteristics of the selection of variety, it should be high yielding, means productivity should be very high, so that it can ensure overall productivity to the polyhouse growers. We have to grow more from the less area. And as I mentioned, if you see the growth of area in vegetable crop, that much changes has not happened. It 10.5 million hectare, and there is no further scope of enhancing area because shifting of the area from one system to another system is not easy. We have to do a lot of ground activity to convince the farmer to change the cultivation system. Fruit quality, what type of fruit, market demand, whether dark green color, light green color, or striped one, or the having good storability like that. So high shelf life is important, and above and all, because when we go continuous cultivation of the variety, any crop in the protected area for 3 to 5 years, then disease become very, very important, whether it is nematode or it is a fusarium wilt. So we have to take that resistant variety. So far, people have don't claim that the varieties we are growing are carrying the resistance to nematode, and because talking is easy, development is very difficult, because we have to transfer, to have to look forward the source of resistance to transfer. It takes time, and now younger generation are not ready to wait for such kind of breeding program. So what basis, what type of variety, as I mentioned, the Gynoecious variety, predominantly Gynoecious variety, monoecious variety, to selection based upon the parthenocarpic Gynoecious variety. So you need not to worry about the pollination in cucumber at least. Then what are the varietal development status? Dr. Balraj Singh was mentioning about the import of the seed. Undoubtedly, there is a huge foreign exchange is drained from India to the other countries, and we have to develop our own strength. And जो अभी हाल ही में प्रधानमंत्री जी का आत्मनिर्भर भारत, तो आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनने की दिशा में भी हमको ब्रीडिंग करने का आवश्यकता है. तो उसमें हमने हमारे संभाग के अंदर we are very proactive in that, and we have developed Pusa parthenocarpy cucumber 6, and we are producing seed. We are making available to the farmers as well as industry, and we are going in a commercial mode. And those who are interested in the seed production of this variety, we have developed a protocol of technology as well as the commercialization protocol through Agro Innovate and JTM PPD in IRA. So this is one of the view how the productivity is there. It can give 126 ton per hectare if we in 90 days crop. If you compare the productivity, because productivity is again important factor in productivity in 90 days, how much you can harvest in 100 days duration in open field, you can harvest at the most of the 10 to 12 ton or maximum at 15 ton under best condition. But you can see that how much is the benefit of the technology, and Pusa parthenocarpy cucumber is well suited to the requirement of our Indian consumer. So another varietal development, as mentioned, Dr. Balraj Singh, parthenocarpy cucumber 2, cucumber 3 by D.K. Singh at GB Pant University has developed these, and one hybrid APCH1 has been developed by the Dr. Pradeep Kumar team and his team in Kerala Agriculture University, and they are producing. You will see that how much volume of seed Dr. Pradeep is producing. I had my personal visit to his experiment. They are 30 lakh rupees value seed per year Kerala Agriculture University is making, and their demand of this KAU F1 hybrid is from abroad too. So the kind of potential is available in seed production is enormous. So only we have to train and bring out the new young generation to the entrepreneur mode. If we see that these are the other varieties which are very popular and grown across the country, Kian, Setis, Multistar, Hassan, Hilton, Sunstar. Many more will be there. I'm not going to highlight these segment because there are certain limitations, but these are the variety which has been grown popularly by the farmers. Another important crop, Girkin, I was mentioning, the Bangalore, around Bangalore is good, and we can also attempt during winter season in UP also, around the big cities where influx of the foreign tourists like Agra, Lucknow, or Ayodhya is taking place. Such kind of product may be demanded by the hotel industry, and we have developed Pusa pickling cucumber 8, which have been identified in the last February March meeting by the institute, and we are in preparation production of seed, and we can share the material with the universities for further enhancement of, and we are promoting that the pickling cucumber, which is basically used for as a pickle and brine solution, good amount of export is there. Another important development in Cucurbit is the muskmelon. We have developed a sarda, which is a sarda type. Earlier, countries importing sarda fruits from the Afghanistan via Pakistan, and many times political situation are very volatile. So the import of this muskmelon variety was imported, and we have to pay foreign exchange. And now we have developed this variety, sarda, which can be grown under protected conditions during winter. We have an experiment with KVK Chomu, and two farmers has grown they have transplanted this Pusa sarda during the month of September, and they have harvested the good amount of fruit from the first fortnight of December. Similar efforts had been made by the another company, Rizikwan, who is also pursuing the cluster approach of their product popularization and providing technological backup and support to the farmer and linking to the farmers in Rajasthan for the export destinations. So this is one opportunity, and Dr. Brahm Singh was mentioning about the lay condition. We have to explore our varieties. Last 2 years, we are exploring and putting our variety through DRDO Leh to the Leh DRDO farm as well as to the farm. Last year, we have provided our material to the farmers. We want that this kind of variety should be given an option to the Leh farmer so that their income can be enhanced and they can be brought down the normal stream, and their level of economic livelihoods can be improved. And we have realized that this Pusa sarda has given 15 plus TSS under lay condition when crop was sown in somewhere in April, and we have visited in August and in September. Last 2 years, we have seen wonderful result of this hybrid, and very much possibility of producing organic. So such a technological development are useful not only for IRI or Delhi or North Indian farmer, but it is for the far-flung areas where there is a lot of scope of development. Bitter gourd, I have added the new crop to the protected cultivation. Many of you may not be agreeing because of the pollination management. It is a monoecious in nature, but we have bred the variety which is suitable for juice making. Why we are considering bitter gourd a crop for a protected conditions? Friends, you will agree with me, 40% of Indian population suffering from the diabetes. And the first approach of any person who is suffering from the diabetes wants to take the bitter gourd juice or bitter gourd in their food diet, or the jamun or kernel powder or mango kernel powder or some other approach. But you will wonder to know that when farmers grow during rainy season, fruit fly and the viruses are so serious in bitter gourd, and farmers supply alternative days or third days the kind of insecticide coming to our food chain. I do not want to create any wrong message to the consumer, but it isn't true that farmer has to save their crop because they have to run their family, and consumer, those are suffering from the diabetes, they have to eat bitter gourd. So for the sake of good health to the person who are already suffering from the diabetes, we should give an opportunity to the young generation of farmers that we should grow during winter season pumpkin or during winter season, because bitter gourd nowadays required every day, whether it is December or January or any month. Now bitter gourd has gone beyond the seasons, whether it's summer or kharif, it is available because consumer demand is there. So we have developed this variety, and this is very much suitable and good for juice making. But it does not mean that the other variety cannot be grown. You can grow other variety also in the protected condition. Only you have to manage the pollination. If your size of the polyhouse is bigger as compared to the normal size, then you can take advantage. So bee pollinator, though we have a challenge to harbor and made available to the farmer kind of bee required for pollination and protective, because size is very important. We requires a large size, 1 acre size or more than that. But in our country, because small and marginal farmer, they are not in position to afford a large size of polyhouse and the kind of expenditure involved. So bitter gourd is one option, and we have tried in Haryana and Bhopal this variety under protected condition and having a good response in Gurgaon, not a good response in Bhopal. People prefer the variety which are hollow inside, yani ki endocarp is less, but this variety is flush and suitable for juice. Another development, summer squash, so far Pretipan, Goldie and all, these are the variety imported with yellow color because people are fascinated to have in their diet a colorful diet. We have developed two varieties at our division, Pusa Pasand, which you can see in the basket. It's flattish round and suitable for cultivation in spring season. You can start from the mid-December onward, and you can finish the crop in middle of March with a good productivity. Second, Sriyas is a bigger size. I can say it's a mini pumpkin. If you see the fruit of the Pusa Sriyas, it is like a mini pumpkin, and it's weigh around 700 gram to 1 kg. Flesh is very soft, and cooking value is very good. So this is a new addition to the summer squash cultivation. We can have a like baby carrot. Dr. Brahmsingh was saying that you can grow baby carrot in plug tray and container. But we have to mention that if you suggest the Pusa Rudira should be grown in a tray, farmers has to put a long efforts. But we have to choose the variety like baby carrot or the orange type carrot or shallow rooted crop. So radish, turnip, French type are very successful for such conditions. And the Pusa Alankar and Australian green are the very old varieties which have been grown by the farmers since long. So what type of structures I would like to mention, as I have clarified that polyhouse, cultivation, cucumber, gherkin, muscula are suitable for walk-in tunnel. We can have bottle gourd and low tunnel. Summer squash best option. In net house, based upon the location, we can go the cultivation of these cucurbits. So how to raise the nursery, though Dr. Ballaj has already mentioned, and we are going too late because we have to finish at 12:30 and now we are 12 to 10. So lunch is going late. I am also feeling hungry. I will not go very detailed. These are the technology which has been promoted, generated and promoted by IRI Division of Vegetable Science. Dr. Siroi has put lots of low-cost technology. Farmer can do at their level, can grow seedlings, but there are a lot of limitation, volume has to involved, and transportation is there. So, but still it is in practice. Many farmers practice it and prepare locally from locally available material for low cost production of the polyhouse at their own farm level, so that they not to have a problem of sifting. But transportation in a big poly bag technology is not economically feasible. So these are some of the view. Now the best option is the high-tech seedling raising, and it is not only a practice; it can be an option for the young students and entrepreneur that we can establish the seedling raising as an option to the young generation. So what are we substrate we have to this? Dr. Brahmsingh has mentioned soilless cultivation, soilless nursery raising. It is well known, Cucurbit, vermiculite, pellet 3:1:1 ratio, and we have to use different size of plug tray, whether it is in cucurbits 1.5 inch size plug tray, or in others 1 inch type plug tray. Different shape and size of the tray can be used for raising the soilless nursery. So these are some of the views, and I will skip all those. And when we grow the seedling, the one step is hardening of the seedling before transplanting, taking out the seedling from the modern nursery or high-tech nursery. We cannot take it immediately. Generally, people are coming, putting their indent for growing nursery, and they are coming one day and they say that you supply the material, and we are supplying. It has been seen, but we have to give some time to the hardening to save the motility of the plant after transplant, so that we can enhance the plant stand and maintain population density. Otherwise, 10 to 15% mortality is there if we are not hardening the seedling. If you are producing seedling at your own farm and using the same, then there is no problem. When it is taken up in a commercial scale, then hardening has to be done, or we have to have some spray, anti-transparent spray, or at sometimes the conditions comes that environmental conditions are not favorable, farmer are not able to transplant, but seedling is growing, so we have to have the growth retardant. But the technological aspect, development in hardening technology, though we know MHA, ICPC, and CCC, so some chemical compounds have been marketed by the multinationals, which are very, very useful, but they do not reveal their chemical composition, so we have to depend upon them largely. So hardening is one practice we have to follow religiously. Then we have to go for field preparation. If we are talking about the protected cultivation, then we cannot enter to the tractor. We have to take a mini tractor. And how mini tractor can do the deep plowing. After one crop, another crop, we have to go deep plowing, solarization, and the preparation of the soil for next. But one thing is very clear, that protected cultivation has some basic philosophy, that you have to use drip, you have to use mulch, you have to go for trailing. And when you use trailing to the cucurbits, automatically you are practicing vertical farming, what Dr. Brahmsingh was saying. In cucurbits, if you go trailing, and in tomato, cherry tomato, it is a kind of vertical farming. You are utilizing vertical space for the growth of the vine as well as the plant, and you can manage the crop through the pruning and training system. So I will not go that technical detail. Fertigation scheduling of cucumber has been given in this slide. Usually, only I would like to mention, in any life cycle of the plant, there are three phases. One is vegetative phase, another reproductive phase, and another is the maturity phase. So in case of fresh production, so third phase does not matter. So any cucurbits which is transplanted starts fruiting from 28 days to 40 days duration, and it remains 60 to 65 days or maximum 70 days thereafter. So accordingly, when plant is in growth vegetative stage, the requirement is comparatively less. But when crop is in a very productive phase, flowering, fruiting, and continuous harvesting, then you have to increase the frequency of the fertigation, one day to every day, or alternate days to the every day. So that is the management, and depending upon the situation and kind of size and structure and season and the demand of the variety, we have to see. So we have developed one fertigation scheduling in CPCT when Dr. Praladji was there, and it was published in collaboration with IFCO, which has been largely utilized by the states for understanding the fertigation scheduling in different vegetable crop and how it can be better harnessed in the growth. So fertigation is important for as a part of principle selection of variety, raising of seedling, soilless seedling, then use of trailing and pruning, then mulching and fertigation. These are the essential integral part of the protected cultivation. So before going into the these approaches, we have to understand the mechanism of training, what type of training we have to give. In case of cucurbits, we have to retain initially single, otherwise there will be a huge load of the plant which will not be able to handle. So we have to do regular trailing, we have to do regular pollination. So training and pruning is important, and we can have different type of pruning which has been shown diagrammatically. We can manage the crop. And if we have to grow, there is another option, which my previous speaker has not mentioned about that. So far, we are restricted in protecting a number of limited crops. But now the time has come to think of the crop like okra, brinjal, chili as a protected crop. Though many farmers are practicing coriander as a shade net, amaranth shade net, palak shade net in summer season to reduce the production of the metabolites, harmful metabolites, so that it should not pass on to the seed chain. So we have to see the new crops too for protected cultivation, because these crops fetches lot of pesticide application and we do not have much control over them. So we have to breed the variety which are suitable for protected cultivation in chili, brinjal, and in this okra, which can set. But in these crops, certainly the role of pollinator will come. When we have to promote monoecious-based cucumber or muskmelon, as I mentioned, sarda type, then we have to, or bottle gourd or beetle gourd, we have to rely upon the pollinator. We have to standardize, and we have to make available and access the farmers, the bees for cultivation. And time come, the things will go in a commercial way, as it is happening in the European and Israel. So if pollination is very, very important, we have to understand those are agricultural graduates. They understand the pollination, monoecious, when we have to do pollination, time of pollination, how to collect the pollen, and how to do the pollination. In case of beetle gourd, we have seen in Pusa Rasdar, we can do pollination in 1000 square meter pollination. 2% can go away in 2 hours. So you can have around thousands of flower, because crop is already trained and you have to take the male and you have just touched to the female flower. So pollination is not like seed production. For hybrid seed production, you have to emasculate, you have to protect, you have to, after pollination, you have to protect. So in polyhouse conditions, you have to just transfer the pollen, whether manually or it is with the help of the pollinators. So harvesting is very important. Stage, at what stage you have to harvest, when fruit attained optimum size, and it may be vary variety to variety, and usually 4 to 5 days after pollination, fruit become harvestable. In case of this pickling cucumber, and 5 to 7 days or 6 days, depending on the condition. Also, if temperature is low, it may take 2 days more. If it is temperature high, it will grow faster, and it also affected by the management practice, what type of fertigation you are going to manage in the crop. So these are some of the view of the crops which we have grown in our farm during summer season in polyhouse, the Pusa Sarda, and this the view of the Tinda, Pusa Pasand. Under polyhouse, it grows very robustly, and that's why it is not a crop for the protected cultivation. It is for low tunnel. We take advantage of that, and I will skip all these slides. Then harvesting, and these are the required disease. All I am going to the end. Everything is not good. When we take a class or lecture, we emphasize always only the positive point. So we have to realize as a part of policy, we have to analyze the SWOT of every production technology. We have to see what are the challenges, how we can address these challenges. What are the challenges? So far, even in India, we are 20 years old now, this technology, but still varieties choice is very limited. We are still dependent. We have done good amount of job development of Pusa cherry tomato 1 or Pusa rasdar or this Parthenocarpic cucumber or Pusa pasand, and many other university like AAU, Pantnagar, PAU has developed, but still we are have to more varieties in affordable price. Price is very important. The Parthenocarpic is still 4 to 6 rupees per seed. He sold, it has to bring down the cost, and we have to develop a training center to develop the manpower. whether you have to repair, whether you have to run the fertigation system to manage the polyhouse, and the cost is again very important, because Indian farmers are not very rich, mostly small and marginal farmer, and big farmer, very few big farmers come to the vegetable. They go for paddy cultivation, wheat cultivation, mustard cultivation, like that, because support price is available. And another important, the uh, nursery management, as I mentioning, the growth retardant, and above and all, many points raised by Dr. Brumsing, the wind velocity we have to see before installation, how much wind velocity our polyhouse can tolerate in different part of the country, and the what type of cyclone storm we are realizing over a past of years in North India. So, and the dust pollution is another important factor. Pollution is a continuous uh, phenomena in our society because of growing population, growing industrialization, and when we go protected cultivation in the city, around city, nearby city, so pollution is one. And bricklayers, इधर बागपत डिस्ट्रिक्ट में एक 18 किलोमीटर के ऊपर 150 भट्टे हैं, 150 प्लस भट्टे हैं. If somebody put the polyhouse there, what will be the fate of the seat there? Because lot of ashes will deposit for them, and it will affect the light transmission and availability of the good quality light in the polyhouse. So how to clean? Cleaning agent, cleaning machine. Otherwise, it will reduce the shelf life of the plastic we are using, and it will hamper the light penetration and availability. So ultimately, it affects the productivity. So keeping in view the all factor, we should also have a preparedness before going into the cultivation of any crop, whether it is cucurbits or any solanaceous crop under protected condition. So SWOT analysis has to be done compulsorily, as SWOT is strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat has to be analyzed. Then we have to start the process of thinking, management of the resources, management of the inputs, and then to make this successful, whether it is a cucurbit cultivation or other vegetable cultivation, we have to go in coming time in a cluster approach, because cluster approach is the solution of many problems, whether it is the resources or whether it is a marketing problem or management problem. One farmer has erased the polyhouse in Baroth area. It was damaged, but no company is ready to go to repair, because one polyhouse has to repair. It will charge more. Farmer will not afford. So if we had a cluster, company will directly approach to them. If you had any problem, what type of variety you require, we will supply. What type of input you require, we will supply. And the market will. Now market is growing. And the corona pandemics, in which context the CSA has organized this webinar, is very important. Now people are looking towards the vegetable for healthy diet, because if you have to survive such kind of environmental threat, so you have to have a good diet, and to have good diet, use safe vegetable, healthy vegetable, and vegetable not only 200 grams per day, you have to use 400 gram vegetable per day, so that you can healthy and happy. So from this, I convey my thanks to the University Authority, who has given me opportunity to share my views through webinar. Thank you very much. If there is any question from the participant, I welcome.
Last slide is very good, Dr. Saab. Excellent.
This is original slide, Dr. Saab. We
Ah,
play our vegetable in NAS complex 2 years back.
yeah.
All vegetable varieties were in the NAS. Some function was there. You can see the other side is the fruit and post-harvest technology, Azola, and these are our variety. You can see a bunching onion and the red cabbage, squash, white brinjal, cherry tomato, like that.
Everything you have shown, sir. This is the, I think, all the vegetable you have shown, sir, to fulfill the requirement of the webinar also. Once again, thank you very much, sir, for sparing valuable time and giving the very informative lecture. Next speaker is Dr. A.B. Singh Saab, Principal Scientist, ICR, IIBR, Banaras, and topic of talk is production technology of tomato and cucumber under greenhouse condition. So, sir, we are short of time. I request you kindly consider our request and stick up to 20 minutes if possible. Now, without taking much time, I request you, Dr. A.B. Singh Saab, to kindly deliver his talk. Dr. Singh, thank you very much. Dr. Singh, please unmute yourself. Okay, yes.
Okay, good afternoon to all of you. Respected Dr. Brahm Singh Sahab, Dr. Balraj Singh Sahab, Dr. D.R. Singh, Dr. Tomar, Dr. D.P. Singh Sahab. My topic is protected cultivation of this tomato and cucumber. Already many learned speakers, Dr. Brahm Singh, Dr. Balraj Singh, Dr. Tomar, they are very experienced in field of protected cultivation. They have already spoken many more things about this protected cultivation. My lecture would be concentrated for the new entrepreneur or for the student. That would be beneficial for them. Okay, as already it was spoken that in India there is very low productivity of most of vegetable. You can say whether it is tomato, eggplant, chili, okra. It is very low as compared to world, but it has a very high potentiality. We can achieve this high potentiality through using this protected cultivation. Here we can achieve maximum yield. You can see in tomato, in polyhouse, we can achieve up to 150 to 300 tons of per hectare yield as compared to only 50 to 55 tons in open field. Similarly, in cucumber, we can achieve 100 to 110 tons per hectare as compared to open field, it is only 30 to 35 tons per hectare. Here we can also extend the harvesting period. We have experienced it. If we are growing tomato in polyhouse, it lasts for 210 to 220 days, but in open field it is 150 to 160 days. Similarly, in cucumber, we can achieve the harvest this cucumber in polyhouse up to 130, 140 days, but in open field it is hardly 75 to 90 days. Constant good quality vegetable we can obtain. There is very less effect of the variable means environment, so we can manipulate the production time of most of the vegetable. Of course, there is less infestation of pest and disease. This also enhances the farmer's income manifold. This is the most important question we have to ask yourself before installation of this protected structure. What we have to produce, when to produce, how to produce, and where to sell. What to produce, we have a clear vision about that vegetable which are high value vegetable that have good market, that you can sell in local market or nearby market. That vegetable you should have to grow. In most of the polyhouse, we grow tomato, sweet potato, melons, cucumber. In 80%, more than 80% vegetable we grow this because these have wide consumption. Everybody consume this vegetable, and these vegetable have good adaptation to even unsteady environment. They have long growing period and they also fetch good price. And when to produce, as already our earlier speaker has told, suppose we are producing tomato in the month of January, February, March. It doesn't have any matter. It doesn't have any meaning because that time in market, most of the tomato are very cheap, say in 8 to 10 rupees per kg. So if you are producing your tomato beyond April to up to July, then you will get sufficiently a good price in the market. So this is also important when you will produce these vegetables. And how to produce, it has already elaborated. I will also discuss in brief about this, how to produce. And the last important thing, as Dr. Balrav Singh and Dr. Tomar sir has told, where to sell. This is very important because many of the farmers here, we are saying they have installed this poly house and they have grown some vegetable, say this yellow capsicum, red capsicum, but they are not able to sell in the market. They are here in Varanasi, they are not getting good price. So they have to search the market where they have to send this vegetable to get maximum price. These are the type of structure as already told, but I will concentrate only that are important for our condition in Indian condition, that is naturally ventilated poly house, and second semi-protected poly house where we have provision of fan and pad system. These are the most economical for our condition in Indian condition, because here we cannot assure 24-hour of electricity supply, and we cannot also afford much price for installation of these protected structure. So we will concentrate only this naturally ventilated poly house and semi-protected poly house. Of course, insect-proof net house. This is also important, as Dr. Tomar told, for seed production especially. And this fan and pad system, Dr. Balrav Singh already told, this is very important for this nursery raising and for grafting purpose. But this naturally ventilated poly house, it is required everywhere. So in naturally ventilated poly house, you require GI pipe, insect-proof net, transparent poly sheet, insect-proof net of 40 West nylon less. There should be rollable plastic curtain, which is used. It is around all around the poly house, around 8 to 10 feet. This rollable plastic curtain is required so that you can open or close as you. If temperature is high, you can open. If you have to increase temperature, you can roll down. So these are the important parameters, and this is very suitable for our tropical and subtropical condition where temperature is very high in summer and where electricity is one of the constraints. So it does not require electricity and its cost is also very low. It is hardly 10 to 12 lakhs per 1,000 meter square area we can erect this structure. Another is the semi-protected poly house where one side is the cooling fan and other side is fan. So we can moderate temperature of this poly house by 10 to 12 degrees centigrade. So it is very good for nursery production, very good for this grafted plant production. And it is also relatively costly, but it requires electricity. So how we will produce this tomato and cucumber in naturally ventilated poly house? These are the substrate. I will not discuss detail. Mostly we use this sterile Cucurbit media for this growing of nursery, and we also use this plug tray or pro tray. This is of 98 cells or 64 cells. This is very commonly used pro tray. And if you are growing nursery, you have to irrigate daily. And if in whole nursery period, you have to supply this 0.3% NPK 2 to 3 times. That will be enough for production of this nursery. Then sterilization. Sterilization, there are several methods. By soil sterilization, we can do sterilization. By steam, by providing this hot steam of 50 degrees centigrade and above continuously for 4 to 6 days, 4 to 6 hours, it will sterilize the whole poly house. Then the formalin treatment we can use, drenching with formalin solution 1.5 to 2% at the rate of 4.5 liter per meter square. And the most commonly used is the methyl bromide. You can use this at the rate of 40 gram per meter square. Chloropicrin, methyl bromide plus chloropicrin. These are all part of this sterilization media that is used for sterilization of poly house. Variety, Dr. Tomar sir has already told, there are so many varieties. But here in tomato, we are experiencing for last 4 or 5 years, this NS4266. This is very successful in poly house condition. Himsona, Himsikhar, Avman, GS600, TR4637. We have grown taken about indeterminate 10 indeterminate hybrid, but these 2-3 varieties 4266, 4637, these are performing very well. In case of cucumber, you can take Pant cucumber 2, Pant cucumber 3, but this Kian, Multi-Star, King Star, Y225, these are the very high yielder parthenocarpic variety. So farmer can choose these variety for polyhouse production of cucumber. Mulching, as you know, there is a need to black silver mulch. This is very good mulch of 25 to 40 micron. Transplanting distance, it is 1.2 to 1.5 meter furrow to furrow, and row to row 0.6 meter, and plant to plant 0.5 meter. This way we can accommodate around 2.5 to 3.5 plants per meter square, or you can say 8,000 to 9,000 plants per acre. This is general spacing we adapting in the case of tomato and cucumber. Drip irrigation, this is, as already Tomar sir told, this is common. If you are using polyhouse, you have to irrigate the crop with drip irrigation, and you have to fertigate the crop with drip irrigation. We usually use inline enabled dripper of 12 mm lateral that have discharge rate of 2 lps. In polyhouse, usually there is 35 to 40% less water required. Means evaporation rate is 35 to 40% is less in polyhouse as compared to outside. So the water requirement is also 30% less in polyhouse. But here we have to maintain the soil moisture at field capacity, almost at field capacity every time. So you don't allow to deplete the soil moisture in above 30 centimeter depth up to 20%. You can allow up to this percent, not more than this. So in warm condition, in summer condition, you have to irrigate the crop every day, but in winter you can skip it for 2 or 3 days. You have to supply 2 to 4 liter of water per meter square per day, depending upon the season. This is the fertigation. This is common. There are so many fertigation, and it is different. TNAU, Coimbatore have different, Pantnagar have different, IRI have different, Kajri have different, Solan have different. But this is the common. If you are supplying through fertigation, the common concentration of these nutrients in irrigation water, in early stage nitrogen 120 to 150, phosphorus will be same in all stage 40 to 50 ppm. Potassium initial is 180 to 220 ppm. Flowering, it increase nitrogen level 150 to 180, 220 to 270 potassium. And ripening, it further increase nitrogen by 180 to 200 ppm, and potassium 270 to 300 kg, so 300 ppm. There is also one fertigation scheduling given by IHR. They have given nitrogen at the rate of 200, phosphorus 150, potash 200 kg per hectare. And for cucumber, it is 150, 75, 150. But they are giving 25% NPK as soil at the time of planting or sowing, and the rest of this NPK they supplied through this water soluble fertilizer NPK 19 at the rate of 4 kg per acre twice a week. Potassium nitrate 1.5, calcium nitrate 1.5 kg per twice a week or per acre. Kajri and IRI have earlier, they have published one paper from that I have taken. They have supplied 120, 60, 180 kg NPK per hectare, where they have given 50% N and K and 100% P as soil application. Rest of the N and K they have supplied through fertigation. Besides, they have also given 35 kg of calcium oxide and 25 kg of magnesium oxide per hectare. This is the fertigation schedule. I am not going by one because it will take time. I can share my slide to everyone. This is fertigation scheduling what we are adopting and Kajri adopting. This is very good for especially tomato. For every day we have scheduled this fertigation. In initial stage you have give to only twice. After 21 to 45 days after planting you have given thrice a week. And these are the fertilizer, different kind of water soluble fertilizer including micronutrients. After 40 to 60, up to 46 to 90 days after planting, you have to supply in 6 days, except Sunday, you have to supply every day. And again, in 91 to 120 days, you have to supply 6 days in a week fertilizer. So these are the fertigation schedule. Next important is the training, staking, and pruning. As already Tomar sir told, there is a different type of system of training and pruning. But in case of tomato, we usually adopt single stem. But here in IIVR Varanasi, we have got maximum yield by using double stem training. Double stem training, it is very economical. So for training, you require one overhead support system, sting for support, a special plastic clip to attach the stem in sting so that plant cannot move. After reaching 8 feet height of overhead oil, you may allow it to grow downward. So this is the system in tomato. In cucumber, umbrella system of training we usually follow with single stem. It means remove all lateral branches as the development until it reaches the overhead support wire. The last 2 lateral branches are allowed to grow downward up to 3 feet of the soil. The fruit should not be allowed in lower 60 to 75 centimeter on main stem. Usually 2 fruit with 1 leaf are allowed at each node. This is system we follow in case of cucumber, English cucumber. Then as Tomar sir told, pollination, though this is self-pollinated crop tomato, but it also requires pollination. If you are doing pollination, if you have provision for pollination, definitely you will get higher yield. In case of tomato, you can use the battery operated vibrator, or even you can use a big fan, or you can use hand shaking. This is done twice in a day, one in early morning, in morning 10 to 11, another is 1 to 2 p.m. We do this practice for 2 times. And if you have bumblebee, then this is the best. Bumblebee that contains around 50-55 workers with 1 queen. It would be sufficient for pollinating tomato in 2000 meter square area. This is but in cucumber we don't require any pollination. In tomato, harvesting starts 75 to 85 days after planting. Yield 70 to 100 fruit in indeterminate hybrid tomato we can get from single plant. You can say there is a variation of 5.5 to 15 kg of yield per plant. We have achieved this year in a polyhouse condition. So you can get up to 150 to 300 tons of tomato from 1 hectare field of polyhouse. Similarly, in cucumber, it starts fruiting 70 days after sowing. And we are usually harvest 12 to 15 days after emphasis at marketable size. A harvesting fruit 10 weeks up to 2 to 3 days interval, we harvest it for 10 weeks. Yield around 25 days, 25 fruits per plant, or 3 to 4 kg per plant, or 70 to 100 tons of fruit per plant we can per hectare we can achieve in English cucumber in polyhouse condition. In cucumber, we have seen there is also some problem of neck cropping. This is mostly due to uneven soil moisture or insufficient nutrient supply, and sometimes there is hindrance in the growth of fruits. That's why there is cooking in the fruit is observed. So we should take care of. Of course, we have also observed if you are doing grafting in tomato using brinjal at rootstock, we can achieve further more yield. We have even got 66-68% higher yield in tomato if we are using the brinjal at rootstock. Probably because of brinjal root system have 10 to 12 times higher root length density, root volume than the tomato root itself. So it has capability to mining water and nutrient even lower depth. So we are achieving higher yield. One thing I also want to add here, if you are using brinjal at rootstock, its harvesting period is also extended at least 1 month. So these are the benefit, and we are using several solanum wild and cultivated species for this production of this tomato. These are the Solanum ethiopium, microcarpum, tar balm. And one thing I want to tell Dr. Balraj Singh was telling, actually this solanum tar balm was really some problem in grafting. It's have only 40 to 50% success. In other case, 95% success, but in torvum it is 40-50% success. And when you are grafting torvum, that time it is very tiny, it is very thin. DNR people are using this growth regulator to achieve the desirable diameter of this root stock. I have to learn from them, but it is really difficult. Of course, we are here also not getting much yield when we are using torvum as root stock. If you have alternative of torvum, you can use this Surya root stock. It is from Vellanikara, KU Vellanikara. It have also resistant to root knot nematode. It is also resistant to wilt. But in our condition, North Indian condition, there is no problem of wilt. So we don't have ability to judge its capability for this wilt disease. These are the effect of this our root stock, different wild and cultivated root stock on the quality, say lycopene, beta carotenes, ascorbic acid, titratable acidity, PHS, TSS. We have analyzed, we have 2-year data, but we have not reached any conclusion what is the stable effect of these root stock on quality. Of course, if we are using brinjal as root stock, in all cases there is increase of vitamin C content in tomato fruit. In other case, data is unstable, and so we need 1 more year to do this experiment. And these are the effect on some other root stock. We are using this brinjal root stock, and what is effect of our open pollinated cultivar of tomato. This year, sir, we have grown this tomato on larger scale in the field. We have grown first time in the field, and I am able to tell you this is a very beneficial if farmer are going this, or especially in case of this terrace garden, balcony or vertical garden, it would be very beneficial. This tomato we have grown outside. There was a disease of lead blight in later part of in the month of February, March, that devastated our whole crop, but we have also obtained yield. You can see we are obtained yield of tomato up to 2.79 kg per plant, and we have also getting this potato 600 to 700 gram potato from single plant. So it would be very beneficial for, especially for terrace garden or vertical garden. We have also analyzing what would be the effect of this potato on quality of this tomato fruit. We have analysis, and we are from this year we are using these type of root stock for this solanaceous and cucurbitaceous. These are the inter-specific root stock. These are some wild specific root stock. We have purchased it and we are using this for different purpose in cucurbit and solanaceous vegetable. Sir, this is all about my presentation. And if I have any query, then I will be happy to answer it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sir. Thank you very much for very informative talk on production technology of tomato and cucumber under greenhouse condition. Thank you, Dr. Sir, for sparing valuable time and giving the talk on this topic in this webinar. Thank you once again. Now, I would like to request Dr. Ajaz Malik, scientist, SKU 80, Kashmir. He will speak on the status and scope of protected cultivation under cold arid region of Ladakh. So, Dr. Sahab, you are welcome and kindly give your talk. Dr. Ajaz Ahmed Malik.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm highly thankful to the organizing committee who has given me an opportunity to interact with you people. Since morning, many big stalwarts in the field of protected cultivation talked in detail about the various aspects of protected cultivation, focusing on the status and scope of protected will talk about the geographical location of Ladakh. We know Ladakh is known as Langdas, or we mean it as the owner of passes. And as you know, the altitude of Ladakh ranges from somewhat 2,550 to 4,500 meters above sea level. And the total area of Ladakh is around 82,605 kilometers. But unfortunately, only 54% of this area is with us. That is only 45,000 kilometers of this area is with India. Rest of the area, that is around 46% of the area, is illegally being occupied by China and Pakistan. And around 87.4% of the total cold arid region of India lies in Ladakh region. That means rest of the 13% area is in Himachal Pradesh, Lahul Spiti area, but 87% of the cold arid region in India lies in the Ladakh. And as we know that this Ladakh region has two districts, one is Leh and another is Kargil. And as when we talk about the Kargil is at a lower altitude, and when we talk about the Leh is at a higher altitude. And as far as the population of Ladakh is concerned, it is around 3 lakh only. And you will see the population density is very low, some 3 person per square kilometer. These are few districts of Leh district, and these are few districts of what we call as Kargil. And some of the silent features which really make this Ladakh region different from rest of the country and different from rest of the world is that we have an extremes of temperature. You can see, you might have heard about the Dras. We call it as the second coldest place in Ladakh, where temperature goes somewhere around -40 to -50 degrees centigrade in the winter. And this temperature can sometimes shoot up to 40 degrees centigrade in the summer. So there is lot of variability, lot of variation is there in the temperature. There are lot of extremes in the temperature you will find in the Ladakh. Precipitation is very low. It is only 80 to 300 mm. And world as well as the from different regions of the India. And as far as the relative humidity is concerned, relative humidity is very low. It is low in organic matter. And I need your attention towards this important slide, because this slide is very important in terms of agricultural activities are concerned as far as in the area of Ladakh is concerned. You will see division of agricultural areas of Ladakh region on the basis of altitude. As we discussed it in our previous slides, that we have a very wide range of altitude there. It ranges from some 2,500 meters above sea level to 4,500 meters above sea level. On the basis of this altitude variation, we have different agricultural zones in Ladakh. You will see we have upper agricultural zone, we have central agricultural zone, and we have lower agricultural zone. And these zones have been differentiated on the basis of these altitudes. And I want to add one thing here. You will see most of the horticultural activities are mostly being done in the lower agricultural zone. That means those places whose altitude is below 10,000 feet above sea level, most of the agricultural activities and most of the horticultural activities are confined to this area. And this is the area which usually starts from the Kargil, and it ends up to the bordering areas of Leh region. And these are the areas where we are practicing. Also, the double cropping is being practiced in these areas. Then there is another, that is the central agricultural zone, which mostly comprises most of the Leh district. And this is the region where we have been observing the most of the activities which are being done in the protected cultivation area. And some areas which are in the upper agricultural zone. These are some of the zones which are bordering to the China. These are those areas which are at very high altitude. And in next slide, I will be telling you, because of these altitudinal variation, there is variation in the cropping season. There is a variation in the cropping pattern. There is a variation in the types of the crop which you are growing. This slide you can see. In this slide, you will see there is a lot of variation in terms of cropping season, because of the fact there you will see at the higher altitude, you have a very narrow cropping duration. For example, in case of at an altitude of 3,600 to 4,000 meters above sea level, you have a very narrow, we can see window from mid-June to August. If these are the areas which are at the higher altitude, and even in the month of May, you will find ice everywhere. The agricultural activities in these areas starts only from mid-June to August. So we have a very narrow window for the agricultural activities. And similarly, you will find some areas where whose altitude ranges from 2,400 to 2,700 meters. These are the areas which are at very low altitude, and in these areas you can see the cropping window is wide. It starts from April and it ends in the October. So there it is the 7-month duration is there. So because of this altitudinal variation, you can see we have cropping pattern is our different, cropping duration is our different. So next important question, as really the climate change affected the cultivation in the Ladakh region? Yes. See, vegetables, depends on multiple factors, and one of the important factor is the temperature. And what we have observed in last 2 decades, if you talk about especially the vegetable cultivation in Ladakh, I believe 25 to 30 years prior to this, you will see people hardly grow their beets and turnip and barley. But now you will see people are growing every type of vegetable, whether it is brinjal, it is capsicum, tomato, or cucurbits. It's been possible only because of the fact that from last 35 years, the data which is available with us, the data which meteorological data which is available to us has indicated that there has been a gradual increase in the temperature of the Leh region by nearly 1 degree centigrade in the winter months and some 0.5 degree centigrade in the summer months. Because of this change in temperature, because of this change in temperature regime, we have been able to, our horticultural activities, our horticulture zone has shifted from these lower agricultural zones to some higher agricultural zones. As I discussed with you, those 3 agricultural zones. Firstly, those agricultural activities were confined to the lower agricultural zone only. But because of the change in the temperature, these horticultural activities has shifted to some higher altitudes also. Though farmers are happy with this environmental activities, but I believe these activities these happinesses are going to be short-lived because of the adverse climate of agriculture, irrigation on snow and glaciers. But unfortunately, the productivity of agriculture depends on the supply of these glacier meltwater. But adverse effect because of the increase in temperature, we have been observing are retreating at a very fast rate. And further, what we have observed from last 5-10 years, there has been an incidence of pests attack, weeds, and these this region, and if not addressed on a proper time, it can create a catastrophe in the future. So another important thing about Ladakh, as I told you that it is the source of agriculture, source of water is very important. Water is a game changer in this area. The source of irrigation, it is canals, springs, wells, tube wells, artificial glaciers, and ice stupa. I will be focusing, you might be knowing everything about canals, springs, wells, and tube wells, but I will be discussing about the artificial glacier and ice stupa. Artificial glacier concept was actually conceived and developed by one of the engineer there. He was known as Mr. Norful. Mr. Norful, who is widely known as the glacier man of India. What he did, he used a simple water harvesting technique to collect water in the month before winter on starts. He used to collect the water on these passes. He used to make it he made interval by stone embankments. And when water used to get stored there in the coming winter, when temperature gets below 0 degrees centigrade, when temperature goes to -20, -30, this water gets converted into the glacier. And these, when in this coming summer, these glaciers, when they melt, they used to provide water to the irrigate. They used to use. They will be used to irrigate the fields. So these were known as the artificial glaciers. And further, the modification of these artificial glaciers was done by Sonam Wangchuk. You might have seen the movie Three Idiots. The role which Amir Khan played was inspired from this person, Sonam Wangchuk, an educationist and environmentalist of Ladakh. What he did, he put a concept there. He made a stupa of this ice. He just converted. He used the concept same. He used the concept of artificial glacier, but he gave it a shape. He gave it a shape of a stupa. The stupa is there is the monuments the Buddhist people used to worship it. And what he did, this stupa actually increases the surface area of this glacier. And you will be surprising to know a single stupa can generate around 150,000 liters of water. And this water in the month of May, when temperature increases, these stupa melts, and this water is being used for the various agricultural activities. There are advantages. There were few disadvantages also, but there are few more advantages of this high altitude. That is, we have more sunshine hour, we have more clear sky, more than 310 days are there in a year. But still, we are facing a lot of constraints in this region. One of the biggest constraint is your agroclimate. As I told you, you have a very harsh winter. You have a very narrow production window is there. Secondly, the lack of technical knowledge among the farmers. Most of the population in this area are the tribal peoples. They are not well aware about the technical know-how or scientific know-how of these new techniques. And secondly, most of one of the important thing there is that the lack of interest among the youth due to tourism center. Since last few years, there has been a tourist boom in this area, and what has done, it has taken interest out of the youth in the farming. They are now more interested in tourism sector. They have their own hotels, they have their own taxis, so they are more interested in those things. The third important thing is that we have poor of seed technology, lack of high yielding varieties are there, and ultimately a non-availability of good hybrid seed. You will see this Ladakh remain landlocked for around 7 months in a year because of this landlocked system. We're not able, that area is not able to have the good hybrid seeds or good varieties available at an appropriate time. Lack of research and development specifically for the cold arid is not being developed yet. And last but not the least, that is lack of post-harvest technology. But greenhouse technology has really provided a boom for the cold arid people. And these greenhouse technology, because of these greenhouse technology, we're able to grow now more than 72 types of different varieties. Early, as I told you, people of Ladakh hardly knew turnip, they hardly knew beet. But now the people, because of the greenhouse technology, because of the protected cultivation, now people are able to grow more than 72 different types of varieties. And these are few of the varieties which have been tested and which are performing very well under Ladakh conditions. You can see in crops, we have cabbage, we have cauliflower, knoll cole, broccoli, red cabbage. In leafy vegetables, we have beets, leaves, spinach. Because of the high demand, because of the high demand from the tourism, these vegetables are selling as a hotcake in Ladakh now. These are vegetables, you can see, as I discussed earlier, hardly we used to grow few vegetables. Now we have been in a position to grow almost all the vegetables, and it was possible only because of the protected cultivation. So use of greenhouses, as we know, greenhouses actually let us to grow vegetables during sub-winter months, during when the temperature falls -20 degree, -10 degrees Celsius. We are able to grow vegetables like cucurbits, capsicum, brinjal, okra, which we not able to grow even in the summer months. As I told you, there are few locations, there are few altitudes even in the summer months, we're not able to grow these types of crops in the open conditions. And we are able to now grow nursery raising. We are able to advance nursery raising because of these protected cultivation. And last but not the least, we're able to get a good opportunity to produce a quality vegetable, and that too of export quality. The types of protected cultivation or the protected structures, my dear participants, I want to share those protected structures which are in Ladakh. They are totally different from the protected structures which you have seen in rest of the country or other parts of the country. We have different types of protected structures in Ladakh. We have local type of polyhouses, we have mud wall type of polyhouses, we have Chinese type polyhouses, we have shade nets, we have trenches, we have plastic low tunnels. And I want to add one more thing. The people who are dealing there with various NGOs, I believe they are most efficient people. They are very intelligent people. And these NGOs, besides working on different aspects, they have developed some good types of these protected structures. One of the structure we call it, in a very common and very famous structure, we call it Leho type polyhouse. The Leho, by Leho, it means Ladakh Environment and Health Organization. This is an NGO working in Ladakh. They have developed this type of polyhouse. There another agency. They have also developed a good polyhouses. And our SCOST, Sher Kashmir University of Agriculture, Science and Technology, besides having 4 KVKs, we have 3 research stations there. And from last 20 years, we have been working shoulder to shoulder with DRDO, with other agencies for the betterment of Ladakhi people. And these SCOST Leh has designed 2 types of polyhouses. We call it SCOST Model 1 and SCOST Model 2. This is the polyhouse which we call as a local polyhouse. This polyhouse you will be able to find in every household of Ladakh. Actually, from this polyhouse, all the polyhouses has been modified. If you are able to see in the presentation, you can see there is a mud wall at the back, and there is just a cladding material in the front. It is full type of polyhouse which you will find in every household of the Ladakh. Its specifications are around 9 meters is it in length. It is width is some 4 meters is it in width. But its advantages, special skills in construction. Hence, it can be built by any household. But unfortunately, one of the limitation in this is that its yield is low as compared to another structures. This is another type of mud wall polyhouse. You can see it is a bigger in dimension as compared to the one which you find early. But its advantages are that it is also low cost and is used both in summer as well as in winter season. And one more important thing is that it is used in those areas where there is a strong structure needed for the heavy snowfall. But unfortunate thing about this polyhouse is that, or we can say limitation is that the current size is not suitable for commercial growing. Its size is very big. As I discussed with you that these NGOs or these NGOs has played a very important role. Besides looking for another aspects, they have developed some types of polyhouses. We call them as Leho polyhouse. That is Ladakh Environment and Health Organization has developed this polyhouse. This polyhouse is different from another polyhouse is the fact it is basically a double wall brick structure. Between the 2 walls, there is a gap. In the back side, if you are able to see the presentation, in the back side there is a wall. The wall is made up of double bricks, and in between the 2 bricks there is a provision of a space. The space is filled with an insulating material so that the temperature will be maintained in these structures. And this type of polyhouse is very much famous in Ladakh. We are able to get what we have observed. We get some up to 65 fruits per plant in colored capsicum, and we get an excellent results as far as spinach cabbage is concerned. And its limitation is that as I discussed, other parts of the India. But these poly houses, as I told you, they have the same fabricated structures covered with polyethylene film, but in winter, we are not able to maintain a temperature in winter, because in winter the temperature goes -20. They're not, these types of poly houses are not being used in winter, but these types of poly houses are being used in summer for early nursery raising, for growing high value vegetable crops. These are the natural ventilated poly houses. But I want to make I want your focus on this slide, because this slide, we call it a Chinese type polyhouse. The history behind this type of polyhouse was actually like this. The Department of Agriculture, the people from Department of Agriculture went on an educational tour to China. They there saw one type of polyhouses, because they, in Tibet area, you have same type of geography and same type of climate, which is prevailing in Ladakh region. So what they found there, they have a polyhouse, different type of polyhouse, that called Chinese polyhouse. If you will see the polyhouse, it is same as that of other polyhouses, but the difference is that you can see there is a small room. You can see in the slide, there is a small room. First, a person will enter into the room, and there will be another door. Then from that door, that small room, you have to enter in the polyhouse. What is the advantage? Its advantage is it doesn't let to create that gradient. What I say, if we are able to maintain a good internal temperature of around, let us discuss, if it is plus 10 degrees centigrade, and outside if it is minus, when we open door, there will be a gradient. But when we have this small room, there will be some temperature will there. We are not able to directly expose our greenhouse to the external condition. If we will first open the door in the small room, and in China and in few areas of Ladakh, when the temperature is very low, the people of Ladakh are using these small rooms for the living purpose. They don't need to come out of their they don't need to side by side. So this type of polyhouse has really revolutionized the way the people are doing protected cultivation, because of the fact this polyhouse is very much success in it gives very much good success in winter months, because 20 cuttings of spinach, because you see in Ladakh, it is a totally desert. To have a green like thing is an asset in the month of winter. So, but there are few limitations, and we're also able to extend the growing season of capsicum up to 15th November. So this type of polyhouse is very advantageous as far as the Ladakh conditions are concerned. About these things, but in case of winter, they are not. As Dr. Brahma Singh sir has already child of DRDO. Initially they developed these trenches with their objective that the high velocity winds which are prevailing in Ladakh region, what they do, there used to be a lot of evapotranspiration losses. There used to be a lot of water demand used to be there, but it turns to be another way. It turns up nowadays. It turns to be a sort of a technology where we can go for round the year cultivation of vegetables now. These trenches are basically of a specific length. They can be of 1.8 meter in length. They can be of width of 3 meters, but depth should not be more than 0.45 meters. Why I said depth should not be 0.45 meters? Because what we have observed, if we have more depth, then there will be a shading effect. So this depth has been appropriate for these trenches, and these trenches are nowadays being used throughout the year for growing high value vegetable crop, for nursery raising, and this is very cost effective, and it is a very low cost technology. And low tunnel is basically also changing the way people are doing farming now. Low tunnel, there's a difference between low tunnel and high tunnel. We have hardly a height of 1 meter in it, and we can use colleges of those metals or in branches of the willow tree. They used to bend those branches and made those colleges, and it has also provided a boon to the farmers of the Ladakh region. Because of these low tunnels, they are able to raise their nurseries early. They are able to grow these cabbage, cauliflower, high value vegetables under these low tunnel. These low tunnels have become very successful as far as the muskmelon cultivation is concerned, and as far as this watermelon cultivation is concerned. So you can see these are few of the pictures which have been taken at the peak time of the winter, when outside temperature was around -20 to 25 degrees centigrade. And you can see inside we have this, we are growing green types of vegetables. We have developed two types of model there. We have SCOST model 1 and SCOST model 2. We have developed these types of models with the view that we want to have a material which was locally available. Locally available popular wood was available. We used that material, and some thermocot was used. And this structure have also provided boon to the farmers of Ladakh region. They are now able to grow the solanaceous crops. They are now able to grow those crops which are not able to grow outside. So, and at a very low cost. Similarly, we have SCOST 2 model. It is a big modification from the SCOST 1 model. It has same those mud wall types of thing, but there was a few modification in the roof wall. In Chinese type, what we have observed in Chinese type of polyhouses, the temperature goes very high in the month of summer, sorry. But there was no provision of this heat exchange. But in this type of greenhouse, we have provided those fans and another alternatives through which the temperature is maintained in these structures. And mulches have, as I told you, water is an asset in Ladakh. We have very much limited amount of water there for irrigation. So, and lot of wind velocity is there. And as a result of which evapotranspiration losses are very much. This mulching has provided a very boon to the farmers of cold arid zone in terms of conservation of water, in terms of weed management. And now every village, people are using these polythene mulches, and it has really been a game changer. Limitations, as I told you, high initial cost, which became unaffordable to the farmers, expensive, short-lived, and non-availability of cladding material. And what we need to do, we need to develop a crop-specific greenhouse technology. And last but not the least, lack of interest to the farmer because of the booming tourism business there. So the future strategy is to be, we have to develop technology. See, we have lots of varieties throughout the India. Every year, hundreds of varieties are being developed. But we have to develop technology. We have to develop varieties which are specifically meant for these protected cultivation. We have to develop varieties which are specifically meant for the cultivation for these cold arid zones. So we have to be very specific region, that if we want really these areas should come into the forefront, we have to work very hard in developing the technology, in developing which are specifically meant for these areas. And last but not the least, we have to take in board our ultimate user, that is the farmer. We have to make is with the different institutions of the India or the world, that should reach to the ultimate user, that is our farmer. So we should have a very strong link with our farmer, that we should have a very strong extension activity. So it was all about the protected structures, but I believe the marketing network of vegetables in Ladakh is totally different and well organized from rest of the country. If anyone among you have been visited to the Ladakh, you must have seen lot of women selling their produce in the market to the consumer. Second is their producer sells to the retailer, farmer produces, sells to the retailer, and retailer sells to the consumer. But what I spent some 4 years of my service in Ladakh. What I liked there, one of the chain which I liked most was about the cooperative marketing society. I have seen, if women empowerment, you have to see the women empowerment, you should see the Ladakhi society. Ladakhi ladies are the runner in this case. They have developed a marketing societies there. Producer, the farmer sell to these marketing societies, and these marketing societies directly sell to the army or the local. There is a huge presence of army there. We have a huge demand from the army. We're only able to meet some 30 degrees of our production productivity through these polyhouses. We will be able to cater the needs of our army or the local is there. See, these are the, if I want to pay your attention towards this slide, you will see this is a very common seen in the Ladakh market. You will see these are basically, these women are themselves the farmer, they are themselves the producer, and they are themselves the seller. So there is no, you will not find any intermediate in between them. So they are selling their produce in the market, and they are getting a very handsome money of vegetables. So, and locally produced surplus vegetable for off-season consumption is also very important. As I told you, this place remain landlocked for some 7 to 8 months. So they don't want to spoil anything. These are few of the methods through which they store these vegetables. One of them is sandong. We call them as underground pits. We have vegetable sellers, or which have show you that in the underground pits they store vegetables like potato, carrot, radish, turnip, and you will be surprised to know, because their storage life is extended to 5 months to 2 months, and without utilization of any electricity, will be utilization of any external source. Just a natural method of underground pits. They put these vegetables in the gunny bags, store it underground, and when they take it out after 5 months, it is fresh. Similarly, vegetable sellers, they use it for potato, carrot, radish, turnip, cabbage. Here you can see also their storage life extends to some 6 months to 2 months, and hanging, they do it for onions for 8 months. See, these are few slides where you can see these are the pit method, these are the sellers, and this is the hanging. The people of I believe the people of Ladakh are very intelligent. They know how to create the avenues, how to use maximum out of it. See, this is the common. What are the future prospects of Ladakh? The future prospect, our strategy should be we should make Ladakh less dependent on outside world. As I told you, the demand of our security forces, the demand of army, we are only able to meet 30% of the demand, which is from the army side, as far as the vegetable is concerned. The rest, we are just exporting it from another parts of the country. And you know, being a far off place, we have to invest a lot of money in the transportation. So if we are able to make Ladakh less dependent from the other parts of the country, we will be able to save a lot of money. And we have to incorporate latest technology through which we can make it self-sufficient. And we have to develop technologies which are on scientific lines for the processing industry. And last but important thing which I want to discuss with you, that is we have to focus on vegetable seed production. This is one of the area which is virgin, which has not been touched yet. You can see Ladakh has been gifted with a long photo period. It has been gifted with high light intensity, low rainfall, and humidity. Because of these conditions, there is a low incidence of diseases and pests, and these conditions are favorable for the seed production, and we can have a monopoly, especially in the seed production of our cole crops, cabbage, knoll cole, because the vernal temperature which is required for these temperature can be sufficient only under the condition of Ladakh. We can get a good quality seeds of potato, we can get a good quality seeds of beetroot, temperate radish, temperate carrots, turnip, celery, parsley. So this area can really be a game changer. We don't need to depend on exports for our imports for our these seeds. We can produce lot of seeds in this area. I believe this area needs to get more and more focused. See, these are the pictures of seed production of onion and cabbage being done by some of the progressive farmers in Ladakh region. Third is we have to make vegetable cultivation more remunerative. I want to share with you that Ladakh by default is an organic. Why it is organic? Because it remains landlocked for most of the time. You don't have access to the fertilizers initially. So most of the, and most important, the Buddhist, being the Buddhist dominated population there, their belief is they don't go for these pesticides or other things. So by default, Ladakh is an organic state. So organic state, if we are going to make it as a potential organic place, we can have a very good opportunity as far as we can have a, like Sikkim, we can project Ladakh as an organic state, union territory of the country. And important thing is we have to revive the interest in vegetable farming. We have to build a human resource among the local population. We have to promote land-based entrepreneurs. And important thing is that we have to conserve the resources and gene pool is there, gene pool for the cold tolerance. And what we need to do is we have to protect the sensitive environment of Ladakh region. We have to conserve the moisture there, and we have to encourage research in this area. And in the conclusion, I want to say that besides various climatic constraints in Ladakh, Ladakh has a great scope in vegetable production. We have to standardize the package of practice, as I discussed earlier. We have to standardize it as per the local demands, as per the local climatic conditions. We have to make varieties, we have to develop varieties which are specifically meant for these cold regions, which we have to make aware the farmers through trainings, through extension service. Ladakh in the future will be leading producer of vegetables in our country. Thank you very much. Julie.
Thank you, Dr. Ajay Ahmed, for very nice presentation.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you once again for sparing time and very nice presentation in the cold region of the country. Now we have another speaker, Dr. Kirpa Shankar, Professor, Department of Entomology, CSC University, Kanpur. He has to speak today on nematodes management in the vegetable crops. So I request Professor Kirpa Shankar kindly speak about the nematode management in the vegetable crops under protected cultivation.
And organizing secretary of the webinar on protected cultivation of vegetable crops, of challenges and opportunities on the nematode management in vegetables under protected cultivation. So thankful to give an opportunity to share my experience on the nematode management. The protected cultivation system is the form of agriculture production that aims to protect the crops from living like pests and diseases and non-living climatic environmental stress, keeping in view the requirement of the crop. Requirement of the crop suitability to the season, environment profitability of the grower, and over sustainability of the production system. The protected cultivation structure, there are three types of structure. Climate controlled structure. These structures include glass house, poly houses with features of the temperature and humidity control beside the normal controls, water nutrient management. Second is the semi-climate controlled structure. These structures include mainly poly houses with limited control temperature and moisture, such as fan and pad cool system. Third is naturally ventilated structure. These structures are of the simplest fabrication, incurring lower cost and including mainly poly houses and net houses. Here, minimum or use of electricity or any other power is required for the operation. These structures are most common among the farmers. All these structures are discussed in detail by our earlier speakers like Dr. Brahm Singh and Dr. Balraj Singh Saab. So next, what is the major advantages of protected cultivation? The higher productivity mainly on account of protection from biotic stress, use of high yielding varieties, cultivars or exotic high yielding varieties especially developed for protected agriculture or crop requiring added protection. Cultivation of crops during difficult off season for better price realization, better quality of the produce, easier to follow good agriculture practices protocol for better yield, quality and acceptability, and the better entrepreneurship potential. Here are some constraints facing by the growers in the protected cultivation. So in the high specialized for operation, maintenance and production technology, although protected, a few sucking pests and seed-borne pathogens cause serious losses. Vulnerability to extreme environments such as storm and hailstorm, etc. Non-adherence to required standards by constructed agencies, and non-availability of the quality, specialized input, knowledge, and market to growers. So these are some constraints for facing the protected cultivation. Now comes on the main pest and disease scenario in protected cultivation. Like topic protected cultivation, there is contrary to the subject, there is many problem created by the diseases and pathogens in protected cultivation due to lack of knowledge or wrong site selection. So some of the key pest problems are the protected agriculture, including mite, whitefly, thrips, leaf miner, and soil-borne fungal diseases. In protected cultivation, nematodes in particular have acquired a threatening proportion in this system of the agriculture. The nematode pest of the protected cultivation. Nematodes are microscopic worm-like animals, but not true microorganisms, as they have all the system except higher animals possess except skeletal, circulatory, and respiratory organs. They occur everywhere except air, water, inhabit oceans, rivers, lakes, and soils, cultivated or barren lands. So during our research work, some of the survey work done by me and my colleagues. So region and districts in the Bundelkhand region, the major nematode problems are found on Melodogone incognita, Melodogone javanica, Heterodera kazanai, and Pretalinchus thorni. In pigeon pea, green gram, black gram, lentil, chickpea, and vegetables. In eastern UP, Melodogone javanica, Melodogone incognita, Melodogone graminicola, Heterodera kazani, and Hershimaniella origi. Green gram, black gram, rice, wheat, chickpea, pigeon pea, maize, potato, vegetables, jute, and sugarcane. In western UP, Melodogone incognita, Melodogone javanica, Melodogone graminicola, Protallunculus reniformis, and Pretalinchus G. Our host crop is the rice, wheat, maize, sugarcane, vegetables, and groundnut. In central UP, Melodogone incognita, Melodogone javanica, Melodogone graminicola, Heterodera kazanai, Pretalinchus thorni. In rice, wheat, maize, chickpea, pigeon pea, gram, black gram, vegetables, and banana. The two species, Melodogone javanica and Melodogone incognita, is very prominent in the vegetable crops, particularly solanaceous and malvaceous vegetables, as well as in cucurbits. In open field as well as in protected cultivation. The estimated losses due to the economical important plant parasitic nematodes assessed by the in All India Coordinated Research Project, crop like bitter gourd, nematode species infested the Melodogone incognita and losses caused in the yield 13.5%, bottle gourd Melodogone incognita 22%, and brinjal Melodogone species incognita and javanica both 21%, in capsicum Melodogone species 10%, carrot Melodogone species 34%, in chili Melodogone species 15%, cucumber Melodogone species 12%, okra Melodogone species 19.5%, tomato Melodogone 23%, and in potato Globodera species 26%. Globodera species is widespread only in Nilgiri Hills, HP in Uttarakhand. It is not a serious problem in the UP. Why nematode problems flare up in polyhouses? Nematode basically requires these essential conditions for survival and multiplication. Now, first is the moisture. In protected cultivation, by the drip irrigation, the conducive atmosphere provided around the crop season or around the year for the multiplication and movement of the nematode to the root zone. The temperature, the nematode species survival 15 to 35 degrees centigrade. The lethal effect comes on the above 40 degree temperature, and below 15 degrees centigrade, the activities of the nematode is arrested and the multiplication is slow. The continuous cultivation of susceptible host. In protected cultivation, the crops grown almost susceptible for the nematodes like cucurbits and tomato or capsicum. If the susceptible host, if they grow continuous, the nematode population increase day by day. The major nematode problems of polyhouses, the root knot nematode, Melodogone species damage in tomato, cucurbits, capsicum root, and gerbera and gerbera roots. The reniform nematode, Rhotalenchulus reniformis. These are lesion nematodes, Pretilencus thorni, already infested in the vegetable crops. Now comes on the management of nematode problem in the polyhouses. Now the first, construction of new polyhouse or net house. The selection of site for construction of new polyhouse. And the second is mandatory soil testing for nematode infestation. If the site selection is not good, the nematode population infestation comes in the polyhouse or protected in cultivation. Now the next, raising nematode free planting material. I will told to you the source of infestation is the seedling and the soil, and the source of spreading is footwear and tools in the protected cultivation. So the raising nematode free planting material by the seeds or seedling of varieties suitable for polyhouse procured from the reliable dealers only. Seedling must be raised only soilless media or sterilized plastic tray. No FYM or vermicompost may be added in nursery medium. Monitoring nematode population in existing polyhouse or net house. Always advisable to get the soil tested for nematode before planting a crop. Now, based on the recommendation, follow the nematode management protocol if necessary. The removal of roots from previous crop. Root harbor nematode eggs, and each root contain the hundreds of eggs. pulling the plants along with the roots after harvesting of the crop. Digging out the thinner roots is most essential. The single practice can remove 80 to 90% of the nematode inoculums from the soil. The summer solarization. Every year during peak summer, May, June, the field should be plowed, leveled and watered lightly. And this is the lacking in the protected cultivation. The interculture operation not can be done successfully. The soil surface should be covered 25 micron transparent polythene sheets for 2 to 3 weeks. Soil solarization singly is so effective and no necessity of using chemical pesticides. So it is very effective for the manage or suppress the nematode population, the soil solarization by the polythene sheet. The organic amendments fortified with bioagents. Select a shady, cool and covered place for stacking well-rotten FYM, a vermicompost or both. The 1 ton of FYM is sufficient for 1 acre polyhouses. And procure bioagents like Trichoderma hardianum, Trichoderma viridi and Pseudomonas fluorescens from reliable sources. The mode of action of the Trichoderma viridi and Trichoderma hardianum as the ovicidal effect against the nematode. If we use the Trichoderma viridi or hardianum as a soil treatment, so it is very effective to control the nematode population. These bioagents fortified by at the rate of 2 kg or 2 liter per ton of FYM. The FYM should not come in contact with the soil. Well protected from sunlight and rains. Neem cake powder at the rate of 50 to 100 gram per square meter of planting bed in nursery be mixed on the top layer more or greater than 10 days before seedling and transplanting. Crop rotation. It is very effective to suppress the nematode population. They strongly advise not to grow cucumber continuously. Capsicum is relatively more tolerant and can introduce in rotation. Tomato variety Pusa cherry 1, moderately resistant against the nematode, may be grown. The chemical nematicides. At present, only one nematicide registered for the control of against nematode in vegetable crops. We suggest that chemical application may be done when necessary. Carbofuran 3G at the rate of 1 to 2 kg active ingredient per hectare applied in soil at the time of seedling or transplanting. In protected cultivation, some of the action points may be attention. The construct a new polyhouse or net house on nematode field. Aside, get the soil sample tested for nematode from designated laboratory. Do not grow cucumber, tomato continuously, including capsicum if nematode population low. Monitoring nematode population before planting a new crop. Go for soil solarization with transparent 25 micron polythene sheet during May, June for 2 to 3 weeks. Fortified FYM, neem cake, vermicompost with bioagents, Trichoderma, Pseudomonas, Pasteuromyces and mix the top of the beds. Use nematode-free nursery raised in sterilized soil, less medium, follow fertigation schedules recommended, monitor other pest and disease regularly, follow recommended practices for their control if required, maintain general hygiene and sanitation, and around polyhouses there with good agriculture practices protocols as far as possible. Harvest a bumper crop, lower nematode population for next crop. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saab, for very good information about the nematodes in vegetable crops, especially in protected cultivation. Thank you all. Today, this seminar means national webinar organized on protected cultivation of vegetable crops, challenges and opportunities under the banner of National Agriculture Higher Education Project running in the Directorate of Research of C.S. Azad University of Agriculture and Technology, Kanpur. This webinar was very important because in our country, vegetable has very good role in the diet system, and already few speakers told about the nutrition value of the vegetables, especially Dr. B.S. Tomar. He has shown the very good slide in which all the vegetables are shown. So thank you very much for the eminent speakers and my team in the technical session. I would also like to thank the chair, Dr. Kirti Singh. However, he is not able to attend or participate in this webinar, but I would thank to him. He has given his consent. Due to some constraint, he is unable to participate. I also thank Dr. Noshad Khan, Dr. Rajiv, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar, Dr. Anand Srivastav and his team for organizing this very good webinar in CS University on the topic of protected cultivation of vegetable crops, challenges and opportunities. I also thank to Dr. D.P. Singh for organizing this webinar and giving me the opportunity to chair this session. During this session, there are 6 presentations by very eminent speakers, and in the morning there is an inaugural session conducted in which Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Uttar Pradesh, Shri Surya Pratap Sai ji, give his blessings and give some directions, instructions to the university authorities and for improvement in the vegetable department and horticulture department. And he has also gave his consent for various projects. So I am thankful to him for his blessings. In the inaugural session, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. DRC, has given his blessings and remark about this vegetable crops under protective cultivation. He has exhorted so many things related to horticulture, floriculture, and vegetable crops because he has very wide experience in the area of horticulture, vegetables, and floriculture. So, sir, thank you very much for your blessings, for your able guidance under your leadership. This program has been conducted by the in charge vegetable science department, Dr. D.P. Singh. I once again thank you, sir. I am also thankful to Director Research. He was also participated and welcome the guests, all the guests and dignitaries has delivered the lecture in the morning session. However, he has to come in the concluding session, but due to his engagement, he is not participating. So I thanks to him. At the end, I am thankful and to the very learned speakers, Padam Shri Dr. Brahm Singh ji. He has given a very good and informative talks about the protected cultivation, especially in Ladakh areas, and he has also apprised to the participants about the development of protected cultivation in our country. Not only in our country, but he gave the overview of the protected agriculture, vertical agriculture, and so many things about the China, Colombia, in different countries. So for his very good talk, I thanks to him. And next speaker was Dr. Balraj Singh. He is ex-vice chancellor and presently working in the IARI. He has did lot of work on the protected agriculture in IRI, and he has given very good and informative lectures during this program. So I also thanks to him. The third lecture was given by Dr. V.S. Tomar, Head of Division, Vegetable Science, IRI, New Delhi. He has very good work on different vegetable crops, especially cucurbits, and a lot of information given by him and in a very scientific manner, and he has shows so many slides. One more important slide shows by him the different vegetables at the same place. The next lecture was Dr. A.B. Singh, Principal Scientist, IIBR Banaras, on tomato and cucurbits cultivation under shade house and greenhouse and protected cultivation. Next lecture was Dr. Ajaz Malik. He is scientist in the Ladakh area in the cold region. He has given the overview of the cold region, and our participants and learned speaker will certainly benefited by his talk. And he has given different types of channels and also give the overview of the different tunnels made in the Ladakh for the conservation and protection of the different vegetable crops, not for 1 or 2 months, more than 5 months. And he has given very good example of the marketing by the women in the Ladakh. They are the farmers, they are the producer, and they themselves done the marketing of the vegetables. So this is the new experience to our participants, scientists, and other participants which are participating in this webinar. At the end, Dr. Kripa Sankar, Professor, the Department of Entomology of our university, has given very good and informative lecture on the nematode management in vegetable crops. So this is all about the program which is organized Dr. D.P. Singh, officer in charge vegetable science of the department, and his team, especially Dr. Rajiv, Dr. Sanjeev, and the technical team of the webinar are Dr. Anand Srivastava, Mr. Vivek, and Sanjeev Kumar. Dr. A.K. Singh has also participated in this panel discussion. If he is available at this time or not, he would like to say something. Okay. I think Dr. Anand Bahadur, scientist, principal scientist, IIBR, is also available with us. So this is very informative and very good national webinar organized by this university under the leadership of the Honorable Vice Chancellor. So I would like to thank all the participants, all the speakers, and the guest and chief guest of today's function. Thank you very much, and over to Dr. D.P. Singh. Would like to say something, or Dr. Rajiv? Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
We would like to conclude this national webinar on protected cultivation of vegetable crop challenges and opportunities. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.